Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 1 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password is provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 1 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter probability and statistics. And the lessons we're going to start with is more, less and equally likely. Then certain, probable, unlikely, and impossible, mod and range, and then we'll do the final test of the lesson. So let's just start with the first lesson. Okay, here I'm on grade 1 math. We're going to start with the chapter probability and statistics. So let's just here is the lesson probability and statistics. So let's just start with the first lesson, that is more, less, and equally likely. So let's just start with the first example. On which color is the spinner most likely to land? So you can see this is the spinner. On the spinner you have two colors, green and pink. So just look at this spinner. You have more part that is pink. The green part is pink part is larger than green part. Got it? So more of the spinner is pink than is green. So the spinner is more likely to land on pink because you have more pink color than green. So spinner will land on pink than on green, right? The next one is on which color is the spinner more likely to land. So you can see the spinner, you have two colors, pink and blue. You have more blue color than pink, isn't it? So that means the spinner is more likely to land on blue because you have more blue color than pink. So spinner is more likely to land on blue. Got it? The next one is on which color is the spinner less likely to land. So you can see the spinner, you have two colors on the spinner, they are yellow and green. So you have more yellow color than green. So that means the spinner will less likely to land on the color that is less on the spinner. So you have less green color than yellow. So spinner will less likely to land on green. Got it? Spinner will less likely to land on green. Let's just start with the practice questions. Okay, let's just start with the first one. On which color is the spinner more likely to land? You can see on the spinner you have two colors, green and blue. So you see more likely to land. Which color is more on the spinner? Green color is more than blue. That means spinner will more likely to land on green. The correct option is green. Spinner will more likely to land on green. On which color is the spinner more likely to land? How many colors do we have on the spinner? You have two colors on the spinner, blue and yellow. So spinner will more likely to land on blue because you have more blue color than yellow. So on which color is the spinner more likely to land? Spinner is more likely to land on blue. So the correct option is blue. On which color is the spinner less likely to land? So which is the correct option? You have two colors on the spinner, pink and green. You can see you have more pink color than green. So that means spinner is less likely to land on the color that is less on the spinner. So you have less green color than pink. So spinner will less likely to land on pink. So the correct option is pink. Sorry, less likely to land on green because you have less green color than pink. So spinner is less likely to land on green. On which color is the spinner more likely to land? So, which is the correct option? You have green and pink color on the spinner. More, which color is the pink color is more than green? That means the spinner is more likely to land on pink because you have more pink color than green. So, spinner is more likely to land on pink. The correct option is pink. On which color is the spinner more likely to land? So, which is the correct option? You can see on the spinner you have a blue color and pink color. So, you have more blue color than pink. That means spinner is more likely to land on blue than pink. You have more blue color, so it will more likely to land on blue. The correct option is blue. On which color is the spinner less likely to land? So, which is the correct option? You have yellow and green color on the spinner, so it will less likely to land on green because you have less green color on the spinner. So, it will less likely to land on green because you have less green color on the spinner. The correct option is green. Okay, on which color is the spinner more likely to land? So, which is the correct option? You can see the spinner has the green color is more on the spinner than yellow. You have two colors on the spinner, green and yellow. You have more green color than yellow. That means spinner is more likely to land on green because most of the portion of the spinner is green. So, the correct option is green. On which color is the spinner more likely to land, yellow or blue? Which is the correct option? You have more blue color than yellow on the spinner, right? That means it is spinner is more likely to land on blue than yellow. So the correct option is blue. Okay, the next one is on which color is spinner less likely to land? Which is the correct option? You have two colors on the spinner, they are yellow and blue. So the spinner is less likely to land on blue. The correct option is blue because you have less blue color on the spinner. The correct option is blue. On which color is the spinner more likely to land? So, which is the correct option? You have more yellow color than blue on the spinner, right? That means spinner is more likely to land on yellow because most of the portion of the spinner is yellow, so it will more likely to land on yellow. The correct option is yellow. On which color is the spinner less likely to land? So, which is the correct option? You can see on the spinner you have pink color and blue color. That means spinner is less likely to land on blue color because very small portion of the spinner is blue, so it will less likely to land on blue. The correct option is blue. The one that has the more portion on the spinner spinner will more likely to land on the color that is more on the spinner, and will less likely to land on the color that has the less portion on the spinner, right? Let's just start with the next lesson. The next lesson is certain, probable, unlikely, and impossible. How likely is it that the spinner will land on pink space? So let's just look at the spinner. You have pink and blue color on the spinner. So let's just count how many portions do we have for pink and for blue. So for blue you have just two portions, and for pink they are one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight of the portions are pink. So the more part of the spinner is pink. So that means it is more likely to land on pink. But you have four words. You have to select correct option: certain, probable, unlikely, and impossible. That means probable because more chances it will land on pink. So that means it will probable it is probable that the spinner will land on pink. Got it? The next one is how likely is that the spinner will land on blue space. So let's just look at the spinner. Do we have blue portion on the spinner? You don't have any blue portion on the spinner. So the correct option is then impossible. You don't have any blue portion on the spinner. How it will land on blue then? That means it is impossible that the spinner will land on blue. Got it? Okay, the next one is how likely is that the spinner will land on green space. So which is the correct option? The spinner does not have any green portion. You can see just blue it is. That means it is impossible for the spinner to land on green. So the correct option is impossible because you don't have any green portion on the spinner. Let's just start with the practice questions. Okay, how likely is that the spinner will land on blue space? So just look at the spinner. Do we have any blue portion on the spinner? You don't have any portion on the spinner that is blue. That means this is impossible that a spinner will land on blue space. Right? The correct option is impossible. How likely is that the spinner will land on yellow space? So which is the correct option? Okay, let's just count how many green portions and yellow on the spinner. So you have one, two, three, four green portions and one, two, three, four, five, six yellow portions on the spinner. That means spinner will more likely to land on yellow. But the question is how likely is that the spinner will land on yellow space? Because you have more portion that is yellow than green. That means it is probable the spinner will land on yellow, right? How likely is that the spinner will land on a pink space? So which is the correct option? You can see you have just four portions of pink and one, two, three, four, five, six of the portions that are yellow. So how likely is that the spinner will land on pink space? Unlikely, because you have less less pink portion than yellow one. That means it is unlikely it will land on pink color, right? How likely is that the spinner will land on a green space? So which is the correct option? Certain, because all of the spinner is green, so it will certainly land on green. So the correct option is certain. Okay, the next one is how likely is that the spinner will land on blue space? So which is the correct option? It is impossible that the spinner will land on blue space because you don't have any blue portion on the spinner. So it is impossible to land on blue. How likely is it that the spinner will land on pink space? So which is the correct option? You have more pink space than blue on the spinner. That means it is, which is the correct option? That means it is probable land on pink space because you have more pink space than blue, so probable. The correct option is probable. How likely is that the spinner will land on a green space? So which is the correct option? Which is the correct option? You don't have any green portion on the spinner. All of the portions of the spinner are blue, so that means it is impossible the spinner will land on green. The correct option is impossible. How likely is it that the spinner will land on pink space? Which is the correct option? You don't have any pink space. Oh, all the portions of the spinner are pink. You can see you don't have any other portion on the spinner rather than pink. So that means it is certain that whenever you spin the spinner, it will land on pink because all the portions of the spinner are pink. So it is certain that whenever you spin the spinner, it will land on pink. So it is certain. The correct option is certain. Okay, we are done with the lesson. Let's just start with the next lesson. The next lesson is mod and range. Let's just start with the next lesson. Okay, let's just start with the first example. What is the range? So you are given the data, you have to calculate the range of the data. So how do we calculate the range of the data? Basically, the range of the data is the difference between the greatest number and the least number in the given data. So whenever you have to find a range, what you have to do? Whenever you have to find a range of the given data, just look at the greatest number in the data and the smallest, the least number in the data. So the greatest number in the data is, let's just look at the numbers. The greatest number in the data is 9, and the least number, the smallest number in the data is 1. So that means the range is greatest number, take away least number. 9 minus 1, that is 8. So the correct option is, that means the range is 8. The range of the data is 8. Okay, the next example is, what is mod? So you are given a data set, you have to calculate the mod. So mod is the number that appears most of the time in the given data. So just look at the numbers. You can see you have 1 in the data. How many times it is? 1, 2, 3. Also you have to arrange the numbers from least to greatest. This way it is easy for you to see which number appears how many times in the given data, right? So you have 1 3 times in the data, then you have 5 2 times in the data, and then you have 7 2 times in the data. So which number appears more often in the data? 1 appears 3 times in the data. Got it? Okay, the next one is, what is the mod? Okay, again, mod is the number that appears the most of the time in the data. So whenever you have to calculate the mod in the given value, what you have to do is just arrange the numbers from least to greatest. So you can see which number appears how many times. You can see now here 0 appears 3 times in the data. Then you have 4 appears just 1 time. Then you have 10, and 10 appears twice in the data. So which number appears more often in the data? 0, because 0 appears most of the time. 0 appears 3 times. Okay, let's just start with the practice questions. Okay, the first one is, what is the mod? So you have to calculate the mod of the data. So how do you calculate the mod? I just explained. Whenever you have to calculate the mod, just arrange the numbers from least to greatest. So let's just arrange. Least one is 5. Hold on. Okay, we have the least number is 5. Let's just arrange. 5 appears 1, 2, and 3 times in the data. Then you have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 appears 4 times in the data. And then you have 7. So 5 appears 3 times in the data. 6 appears 4 times in the data, and 7 appears just once. So which number appears most of the time? 6. 6 appears 4 times. So that means the mod of the data is 6. So the correct option is 6. Okay, what is the range of the data? So how do you calculate the range of the data? So for the range of the data, you have to calculate the greatest number in the data and the smallest number in the data. So which number is the greatest one in the data? 7 is the greatest one, and the least one is 1. Just range is the difference between the greatest and the least number in the given data. So 7 minus 1 is 6. So the range is 6. The correct option is 6. So the correct option is 6. Okay, the next one is, what is the mod of the data? Mod is the value that appears the most of the time in the data. So whenever you have to calculate the mod, you have to arrange the numbers from least to greatest. So let's just arrange. You have the least one is 1. 1 appears 3 times in the data. Then you have 5. 5 appears twice in the data. Then you have 7, and 7 appears twice. So you can see here you have 1 3 times, 5 two times, and 7 two times. So which number appears most of the time? 1 appears most of the time. So 1 is the mod of the data. So the correct option is 1. Okay, the next one is what is the range? You have to calculate the range of the data. So whenever you have to calculate the range of the data, you have to arrange the numbers from least to greatest. So let's just arrange the numbers. The least one is 2, then you have 3 and 3, then you have 6, then you have 8, then you have 9, and you have 10. So the range is the difference between the least number and the greatest number. So just 2, 10 minus 2, 10 minus 2 is 8. That means the range of the data is 8. Got it? The range of the given data set is 8. So the correct option is 8. Okay, what is the mod? Whenever you have to calculate the mod of the data, you have to arrange them from least to greatest. But here the data is already arranged from least to greatest. So mod is the number that appears the most of the time in the data. So you can see here 1 appears twice in the data. 1 appears twice in the data and 2 appears 3 times. So which number appears most of the time in the data? 3 appears 3 times in the data. So the correct option is 3. 3 sorry, 2 appears 3 times in the data. So the mod value is 2 because 2 appears 3 times. So the mod is 2. Okay, what is the range? So range is the difference between the greatest number and the smallest number in the data. Whenever you have to calculate the range, you have to arrange them from least to greatest. So let's just arrange 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have 8, and then you have 10. So that would be a difference of the greatest number and the least number. So 10 minus 1 is 9. That means the range of the data is 9. The correct option is 9. Okay, what is the range of the data? Again, you have to arrange them from least to greatest. So let's just arrange them. You have 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the range of the data is greatest number subtract the least one. So 10 minus 5 is 5. So the range of the data is 5. The correct option is 5. Got it? So the correct option is 5. Okay, the next one is what is the mod? Which is the correct option? 9 or 10? Mod is the number that appears the most of the time in the data. The mod of the data is 10 because you can see 9 appears 2 times in the data and 10 appears 3 times in the data. So the correct option is 10. The next one is what is the mod? Yes, the mod is 6 because you can see 6 appears 3 times in the data and 2 appears just twice. So 6 is the mod of the given data. Okay, what is the range? So you have given a data set, you have to calculate the range. So which is the correct option? Yes, that would be the greatest number, take away least one. So the greatest number is 9 and least is 0. So 9 minus 0 is 9. The correct option is 9. Okay, what is the mod? So which is the correct option? You can see the greatest number in the data is, okay, sorry, mod, not range. Okay, then you have to arrange them from least to greatest. So it would be 9 and 9, 8 and 8, 7, 7 and 7, and then you have to. 9 appears 2 times, 8 appears 2 times, 7 appears 3 times, and 2 appears just once. So which is the correct option? The correct option is 7 because 7 appears 3 times in the data. So the correct option is 7. Okay, what is the range of the data? So which is the correct option? Range is the greatest number in the data, subtract the smallest one. So the greatest number in the data is 9, the smallest one is 0. So the range is 9 minus 0, that would be 9. The correct option is 9. What is the mod? Which number appears most of the time in the given data? Let's just arrange them from least to greatest. Whenever you have to calculate the mod, you have to arrange them from least to greatest. So the least one is 4, and 4 appears 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the data. Then you have 6, and then you have 7. So let's just see, 4 appears 3 times, 4 times in the data, 6 appears 3 times, and 7 appears just once. That means the range of the data, the mod of the data is, so the correct option is 4 because 4 appears 4 times in the data. So the mod is 4, right? Okay, what is the range of the data? The range is the difference between the greatest number and the smallest number in the data. So the greatest one is 10, smallest one is 0. So the range of the data is 10. 10 minus 0 is 10. So the range of the data is 10. What is the mod? So which is the correct option? Mod is the number that appears the most of the time in the data. So you can see 3 appears 3 times in the data. So 3 is the mod of the data. Got it? Okay, you can complete the rest of the questions by yourself later today. So we're working on grade 1 math. We have started with the chapter probability and statistics, and the lessons we have covered from the chapter are more, less, and equally likely. Then we did certain, probable, unlikely, and impossible, and we just completed mod and range. You can do the final test on your own. So if you have any question, you can please ask. Please make sure you can complete all the test questions for the lessons we did today. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday, 5 to 9. Okay, that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye everyone.